My name is Lyndsay and today I'm going to be talking about the Jerry Sandusky scandal and how his actions affected Penn State. I'm sure you all know who Jerry Sandusky is, so I don't need to really explain that. But in the CNN.com, an article stated that he sexually assaulted 10 boys over the age of 15. He would take them into showers or hotel rooms or in his basement and other places. And this Jerry Sandusky scandal became more about Penn State and Joe Paterno rather than just Sandusky. The media, when they talked about it, they always covered Penn State issues and left those devastated kids that were traumatized aside. They always just talked about Penn State or Joe Paterno. They focused on bashing Penn State because their amazing football program and this awesome icon, one did so good but also educated their kids. So they were a great example to everybody. So they had to find something bad to pull them against. I find it similar to Tim Tebow because he is such a figure in football and he shows his faith out on the field. And ever since he came to football, there's always somebody that is looking for something to bash him on, and it's just always, everyone looks for a bad thing and a good thing. So if in the beginning, when you saw on the news about this Jerry Sandusky scandal, they would always show a Jerry Sandusky picture and a Joe Paterno picture. It was never just Jerry Sandusky. So they made it seem like Joe Paterno was such a big part in this. If you type into the computer Joe Paterno or Penn State or Jerry Sandusky, the first thing that comes up is the Penn State scandal or child abuse, or it's not, oh, come join Penn State, or it's always about that thing. It's the first thing that comes up. And on foxnews.com, an article said that it was known as the worst scandal in the history of college football, but it had nothing to do with football. Just because it was an assistant coach of the football team doesn't mean that the whole football team did it, or they paid the staff of the football team to go out and trash these kids' lives. I'm sure if it was the basketball team or the volleyball team, it wouldn't be this out of control because the football team is such a strong unit for Penn State. And Joe Paterno did tell the people he needed to tell. He told the authorities, whoever they might be, the policemen. So it was the authorities' job to tell higher authority. It wasn't Joe's position to continue that line. So because of this, the Penn State football program was punished. And on MSNBC.com, the article showed its sanctions. So the first one was a $60 million fine Penn State must pay towards child abuse protection programs, a 4-year postseason ban, so the football team can't play any games for postseason, a significant amount of scholarship cuts. They reduced 10 initial and 20 total scholarships each year for 4 years, and a vacation of all wins since 1998, which included 6 bowl wins and 2 conference championships erased. So Joe Paterno went from having 409 wins to 298, which meant he was first on the list of the most winningest coaches list to 12th. And the incoming football players can immediately transfer and compete for a different college. And the proceeds from the Big Ten Bowl, which was about $13 million, goes to established charitable organizations in Big Ten communities dedicated to the protection of children. And all these sanctions were accepted by Penn State to avoid the death penalty, which was no football program for at least 1 year. So, in my conclusion, Sandusky pretty much ruined the reputation of Penn State and the lives of the students that went there. causing struggle and pain for not only the families and the victims, but for the Penn State family. And so I leave you with this. The first thing you think of when somebody says Penn State, what's the first thing you think of?